Hello, everyone. I am Mia, an ordinary literature teacher leading a life that I thought would be peaceful and uncomplicated. However, life sometimes throws surprises our way. Things that seem trivial in novels can force us to confront ourselves and find a way to move forward. I want to share my story, not to seek pity or sympathy, but as a message, a reminder that I hope will help someone avoid the scars I have endured. This is a tale about life, love, and valuable lessons. I hope that through my story you will find a bit of compassion, understanding, and perhaps your own reflections. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can continue bringing you more fascinating, true stories like this one. And don't forget to watch this video till the end because this story is going to be incredibly interesting. I am Mia, 28 years old, a literature teacher in Boston, Massachusetts, USA. I grew up in a humble family, not overly affluent, but not lacking either. My childhood was spent peacefully under a cozy little roof with my parents, who always encouraged and supported my pursuit of education. Since high school, I have dreamed of becoming a teacher, someone who can inspire and plant the seeds of knowledge and a love for language in generations of students. After graduating from high school, I decided to pursue my aspiration by enrolling in the Faculty of Education at the University of Massachusetts. My college years were not just about studying, they were also a journey of self-discovery, growth, and maturity. Each class and lecture not only imparted knowledge, but also gradually helped me solidify my resolve about the path I had chosen. I envisioned myself standing in front of a classroom, students listening attentively, and that vision motivated me to overcome all the challenges during my university years. In early 2014, after earning my diploma, I proudly entered the teaching profession, eager to share valuable lessons and impart knowledge about literature to my students. I was accepted at Liberty High School, a school I had always admired. Every step into the school, every row of trees, and every classroom made my heart flutter with the hope of a meaningful future. This was my first time standing in front of a classroom as a guide, a leader. The curious and eager faces of the students intensified my sense of responsibility. Liberty High School is not merely a workplace, it has become my second home. Each day I got to know my colleagues and learned how to adapt each lesson to suit my students. I hope that every literature lesson would not be just another class, but a moment where students could find joy, empathy in every word, and a deeper understanding of the world around them and their inner selves. Teaching is not an easy job, but I have never regretted it because every day, every class, brings small joys and the progress of my students, fueling my passion for teaching. At 28, I married Nathan, a man I feel incredibly fortunate to be with. He works in accounting at a large supermarket in the city and is 3 years my senior. Nathan is mature, dedicated to his work, and deeply caring for his family. We met through a mutual friend, and from our first encounter, I was drawn in by his friendly smile and gentle demeanor. He's not just my partner in life, he's also my greatest supporter in my teaching career. A career that he understands means so much to me. Our married life may not fit the mold of a perfect, prosperous existence, but it is filled with laughter and warm, peaceful moments. Our small house sits on a quiet street, not far from the city center, close enough for my daily commute and far enough to enjoy tranquility after a long day. Every evening after work, we come together to prepare dinner and share stories about our day. Those simple evenings with Nathan, bathed in the warm light of our small kitchen, have made me truly appreciate the essence of happiness. However, wanting to contribute to our family finances, I decided to tutor a group of 5 wealthy students in the city at night. They are intelligent but somewhat hyperactive, and tutoring them presents both an opportunity for extra income and a challenge for me to enhance my teaching skills. During the day, I still attend Liberty High School as usual. After teaching, I seize the chance to return home for dinner with Nathan before heading to tutor my students. Typically, I finish my tutoring sessions around 9 p.m., sometimes as late as 10 o'clock if I need to cover additional lessons. Every night when I return home to the quiet streets, I feel both exhausted and proud, knowing I am contributing to our family's well-being. Nathan always waits for me to return, fully aware that I will be late. His patience and care for me fill me with warmth and confidence in the simple life I have chosen. For me, it is a simple but fulfilling married life, each passing day filled with memorable moments and values that are priceless. That afternoon on September 23rd was like any other. I finished teaching at school and headed to the students' homes as usual. The room was bright, calm, and peaceful, with stacks of books neatly organized on the table. I entered, and the students greeted me with their innocent smiles and bright eyes. I placed my bag down and began the lesson. Everything proceeded normally. I lectured. The students listened, occasionally posing questions for clarification. In the middle of my lecture, I reached for a piece of chalk, turned around, and began to write on the small board mounted on the wall. The atmosphere was silent, save for the sound of the chalk against the board. Suddenly, I felt a hand around my waist, my heart raced in shock, and my body froze. All sounds faded away, leaving only the thumping of my heart echoing in my chest. When I turned around, my eyes met those of one of the students, their previously clear gaze now clouded with something unfamiliar. Before I could react, the other students quickly surrounded me. I attempted to pull away, but the strong arms tightened around me, holding me firmly, no longer innocent like children, but forceful like young men. The room seemed to spin, and the lights above dimmed as I found myself unable to resist. I was trapped, caught between laughter and indifferent stares, feeling overwhelming shame and pain. When it was all over, the room felt chillingly empty. I was left alone, my body drained and my spirit shattered. Struggling to stand, each step felt burdensome, as if I was carrying a nightmare. The room felt stifling, but I had to rise and leave, believing that if I crossed that threshold, everything would return to normal. Upon arriving home, I forced myself to remain calm, attempting to suppress the emotions surging within me. Even though I had endured an unfathomable shock, I concealed my feelings. Entering the house, I plastered a smile on my face for Nathan, as if nothing had transpired. His eyes radiated affection and care, yet I buried my emotions deep within, unwilling to let him see my hurt. That night, I lay beside him, wide awake in the darkness, searching for a way to erase those dark memories and continue living as if nothing had changed. The following morning, I prepared breakfast as usual, quietly glancing at Nathan and convincing myself that I needed to put an end to everything, not just the tutoring, but also the nightmare that had unfolded. When I expressed my desire to stop tutoring, Nathan looked at me, surprised. He gently inquired why, and I mulled over countless explanations, but ultimately sighed, forcing a smile, and said I was simply too tired and wanted to spend more time at home. Nathan nodded, his gaze gentle and unwavering, replying, "It's okay if you don't go. I earn enough to take care of both of us. You don't have to strain yourself." Guilt welled within me, heavy like a dark sky that I had been trying to hide. His words made me want to cry, but I needed to remain strong. After reaching an agreement with Nathan, I began contacting the parents of my students. I opted for a brief and professional approach, stating that I could no longer tutor due to health reasons. Each time I heard a response from the other end, my heart ached, fearing they would ask further questions. Fortunately, no one pressed me for more information. With every call completed, I felt as if I had tightly secured another knot, discreetly pushing everything into oblivion. From that day forward, I never returned to tutoring. Each afternoon, I came home early, sitting in my small, quiet room, trying to establish a daily routine to help me forget what had occurred. Yet the truth lingered in my mind, refusing to fade, reminding me of a dark corner of life I had unintentionally stepped into and could never completely escape. A year had elapsed since that fateful night. I had quietly endured my life in torment. Haunted by memories I struggled to bury. Married life continued. Nathan still loved me like before, still offering gentle eyes and complete trust, yet in my heart I could not fully relish that peace. Each day when I gazed at Nathan, the pain and guilt pierced me like a hidden thorn, reminding me of the terrible secret I carried. Then one day I discovered I was pregnant. Initially, I didn't know how to react. Was it joy or fear? For many women, pregnancy is the happiest moment of their lives. But for me, it was fraught with confusion. Doubt crept into my mind. I couldn't ascertain if this child was born of love between Nathan and me, or a consequence of the nightmare I had endured. The questions swirled relentlessly, clouding my thoughts and depriving me of peace. The months of pregnancy passed quietly. I felt both worry and hope. Each night I prayed that the child would be Nathan's, that I could put the past behind me and start anew. Still, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling, always anxious about the day when the truth would come to light. I often found myself standing in front of the mirror, staring at my growing belly, feeling as though I carried an unshakable secret. Then came the day of my delivery. Nathan held my hand, eagerly awaiting our baby, his eyes sparkling with happiness and pride. When I cradled the little boy in my arms, tears brimmed in my eyes, unsure whether they were tears of joy or pain. I saw Nathan beaming with happiness in his first moments of fatherhood, but inside I wrestled with a heavy sense of confusion. From that moment, I realized I would forever bear anxiety and regret in my heart, perpetually questioning if this child truly belonged to Nathan. As time passed, every time I looked at my little boy, my heart ached. His innocent expressions, his joyous laughter always made me hesitate. I loved him with all my being, nurturing him gently, but deep down that anxiety loomed like a dark shadow in my heart. There were moments when Nathan held me and our child close, his eyes gleaming with joy, and I could only nestle against him, concealing my bitter tears. I never mustered the courage to tell the truth, never faced the possibility of shattering my family's happiness. Only I knew the burden I carried, and only I endured the pain. I realized that sometimes silence comes at a cost in order to protect what I hold dear. I live with regret, but I fear losing Nathan's love. I don't want to jeopardize my son's happiness. Through my story, I want to convey the importance of always being cautious and establishing clear boundaries in our work. Never place yourself in a precarious situation that can lead to irreversible damage. Some mistakes, once made, will haunt you eternally and can't be forgotten, impacting not just you, but also the loved ones around you. My story serves as a powerful lesson about the necessity of exercising caution and maintaining boundaries in the workplace. As a teacher, I once believed wholeheartedly in my vocation and the students I engaged with daily. However, in a fleeting moment of carelessness, that trust was shattered, leaving me with an experience I cannot easily share with others. I chose to remain silent, too fearful to confront what had occurred, worried that my life would be irrevocably altered. Since that incident, I have lived under a persistent mental burden. In retrospect, I recognized that I had placed too much trust in my surroundings, in the individuals I interacted with on a daily basis. Establishing boundaries and safeguarding oneself is crucial, particularly in professions requiring close interactions. The boundary between my professionalism and trust was breached, and the price I paid was lasting pain and unforeseen consequences. This experience has also illuminated the fact that sometimes silence isn't the best remedy for deep pain. At times, we require support. If I had reached out to family, friends, or even a counselor during that time, perhaps I wouldn't have had to endure my suffering alone. Perhaps I could have discovered a path to healing and mental recovery. Silence does not erase pain. It only burrows deeper, silently eroding parts of my soul. Through this narrative, I have learned that in any circumstance, caution is essential. No one can foresee what lies ahead, and maintaining boundaries while remaining vigilant is the most effective way to protect ourselves. Most importantly, I've come to understand that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. There are some traumatic experiences no one should face alone. By opening up, we often find someone willing to listen